Your past is a classroom, not a prison. It's a place to learn, not a sentence to serve. You see, too many people walk through life with chains that only exist in their memory. They hold onto every failure, every shortcoming, and every bad decision like it's part of their identity. But let me tell you something. Where you've been is not as important as where you're willing to go. You are not the mistakes you made. You are the lessons you've learned. Now sure, maybe you've made some wrong turns. Who hasn't? Maybe you've lost time, wasted some years, let people down, let yourself down. That's real, that's part of the story. But that's not the whole story. Your future is not written in ink. It's written in decisions. And the best thing about today is that it gives you a new pen. You can change the script. You can stop repeating what broke you and start building what will bless you. You can move from victim to student, from regret to responsibility, from blame to building. One of life's greatest gifts is this. You don't have to be the same person you were last year or even yesterday. You can grow, you can rebuild. You can begin again, but it won't happen by chance. It happens by choice, and that choice has to become a pattern, daily. See, discipline doesn't erase the past, but it rewrites the future. The past is not a prophecy. It's a reference. Don't treat it like a ruler. Treat it like a mirror. Glance at it, but don't stare. I've seen people turn their pain into power. I've seen failures become teachers, not tormentors. I've seen rock bottom become solid ground for a better foundation. The key is simple. Don't drag the weight of yesterday into the promise of tomorrow. Leave the baggage. Pack the wisdom, forgive yourself, outgrow the old story. Start acting like the person you want to become, not the one you're trying to forget. Because life has this beautiful way of responding to people who are willing to rise, not perfect people, willing people, hungry people. So today make a decision, not based on who you were, but who you want to be. Don't just remember what hurt you, remember what it taught you, and take that wisdom into a future only you have the power to shape. The past is for learning, not for limiting. It's not meant to hold you down. It's meant to lift you up through wisdom. The mistakes you made were lessons in disguise. The pain you felt was a teacher with a silent voice. It didn't come to define you. It came to refine you. Too often, people treat their past like a chain, like it's this heavy weight that must be dragged into every new season. But the past was never designed to be your anchor. It was designed to be your classroom. Some chapters were dark. Some decisions were wrong. And some days felt like they'd never end, but you're here, you survived, and now you get to decide what it all means. Growth doesn't come from erasing the past. It comes from understanding it, from asking, what did that season teach me? Not why did it happen to me, but what did I gain from it? See, if you're still breathing, the story's not over. The past isn't your final chapter. It's just the introduction, the part where the character struggles, falls, fumbles, but learns and rises. You don't have to repeat what broke you. You don't have to carry what you've outgrown. The past is behind you for a reason, so you can look forward and not backward. Every scar tells a story, but it doesn't tell the future. It simply says, I've been through something and I made it. Now, what you do with that experience, that's where power lies. You can use your past as fuel, or you can use it as fear. You can let it teach you, or let it trap you. That choice is yours. Your past doesn't know your potential. It doesn't see your dreams. It doesn't hear your prayers. It only holds the part of you that's already gone. But right now, this moment, that's where your freedom begins. When you stop identifying with who you were and start aligning with who you can become. The past cannot hold you unless you hold it. Let go of the shame. Let go of the labels. Let go of the version of you that no longer fits the future you want to build. Because when you finally believe that the past is for learning, not for limiting, you stop hiding from it. You start owning it, and once you own it, you can grow from it. The lessons are there, but they only unlock when you stop punishing yourself and start preparing yourself. Preparing for what's next, preparing for who you're becoming. Don't run from what happened. reflect on it, grow from it, and walk forward with wisdom, not with wounds. You are not your failures. You are not your regrets. You are the strength that came from those moments. The courage that rose when everything else fell. That's what the past gave you, not limits, but lessons. And if you carry those lessons with purpose, your future won't just be different. It will be greater. Your identity is not defined by your past mistakes. What you've done is not who you are. Mistakes are moments, not definitions. They're part of your journey, not the end of your story. We all stumble, we all fall short, but falling isn't failure. Staying down is. You see, growth doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being honest. Honest about what went wrong. Honest about who you want to become. You're allowed to look back, but you're not meant to live there. You're not meant to relive every bad choice as if it's your identity. One bad chapter doesn't ruin the whole book, and one poor decision doesn't erase your worth. Who you are today is shaped more by your response than your mistake. It's shaped by your willingness to take responsibility, to change, to evolve. You are not your worst day. You are not the moment when everything fell apart. You are not the version of you that didn't know better. You are the one who kept going, the one who didn't quit, the one who's still here, trying to become better, that speaks louder than anything in your past. Sometimes we carry guilt like it's a requirement. But guilt isn't meant to be a lifestyle. It's a signal. It's there to teach you, not torment you. The purpose of guilt is growth, to wake you up, not weigh you down. Once the lesson is learned, the guilt has done its job. And it's time to move forward. You don't have to punish yourself forever for what you didn't know back then. You were learning. You were navigating. You were human. Give yourself the same grace you give to others. People change, and you have the right to change too. Don't let your past keep replaying in your mind like a broken record. Hit stop. Hit reset. Start writing a new track. You're not here to repeat your past. You're here to rise from it. You're here to transform, to take the pain and turn it into purpose, to take the regret and turn it into resolve. You don't owe your past anything, but you owe your future everything. And that future begins the moment you decide, I am not my past. I am not that mistake. I am who I choose to become. Let that decision guide your actions. Let that belief fuel your growth. Because identity is not found in where you've been. It's created by where you're going. So don't shrink yourself to fit into the shadow of old mistakes. Stand tall in the light of who you're becoming. Mistakes can shape you, but they don't get to name you. You are more than the pain, more than the moment, more than the memories that try to remind you of who you used to be. Who you are is not limited by the past. It's determined by the strength, the courage, and the choices you make now. You get to decide every day, and that decision can change everything. Every day is a new opportunity to rewrite your story, not once a year, not once a decade, every single day. That's the beauty of life. It gives you the pen back each morning. It doesn't matter what was written yesterday. What matters is what you're willing to write today. You are not locked into a version of yourself that no longer fits. You are not chained to a decision you made when you didn't know better. You are not required to keep repeating a story that no longer serves your purpose. Every sunrise brings a quiet invitation. Start again. Try again. Believe again. The story of your life is not finished. Not even close. It's a work in progress. A draft being shaped by your choices, your growth, your resilience. You may not control how it started. You may not control all the chapters behind you. But you do control what comes next. And that power, that freedom lies in today. It lies in how you show up. In how you speak to yourself, in how you face your fears and keep moving anyway. You don't need permission to change. You don't need approval to become better. You just need the courage to begin, even if it's slow, even if it's small, even if it's scary. The moment you choose to grow, the story shifts. When you refuse to let yesterday's failure define today's effort, that's when transformation begins. You might have been silent for years, but today you can speak. You might have played small, but today you can rise. You might have been lost, but today you can find your way because the story is yours. And the pen is in your hand. Others may have written in your margins. Circumstances may have smudged the pages, but they don't get to write your ending. You do. Every choice is a sentence. Every habit is a paragraph. Every belief becomes a theme, so choose wisely, write bravely, live intentionally. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It won't come, but today is enough. Right now is enough. Start from where you are with what you have. The most powerful stories come from people who refuse to quit, who refuse to be defined by their past, who picked up the pen and said, "This is not how my story ends." You are not stuck. You are not finished. You are just getting started. And today, this very day might be the turning point, the breakthrough, the moment when the story takes a new direction. But you'll never know until you choose to write it. So don't waste the page. Don't leave it blank with hesitation. Fill it with truth, with boldness, with purpose, because every day is a blank page, and every day is a new opportunity to rewrite your story. Change happens through intentional daily choices. Not overnight, not by accident, but by consistent, deliberate action, day by day. Transformation isn't a single event. It's a series of small decisions repeated over time. We all want big breakthroughs. But the truth is, real change lives in the little things, in the choices you make when no one is watching, in the decisions you make when it's easier to quit than to keep going. Change doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for commitment. It asks you to keep showing up, even when the results don't show up right away. Every day is a chance to become the person you say you want to be, but that change doesn't come by chance. It comes by choice, the choice to wake up early, the choice to forgive, the choice to be disciplined when it's easier to be distracted. The future is shaped in the now. The life you dream of is built in the day you're living. If you want new results, you need new routines. If you want new outcomes, you need new habits. If you want a new direction, you need new decisions. It's not about waiting for motivation. It's about choosing action, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation fades, emotions change, but intention, that's what keeps you steady. You won't always feel strong. You won't always feel ready, but you can always choose to take one more step, one healthy decision, one honest conversation, one disciplined moment. Those small choices add up. They stack. They compound. Over time, what feels invisible becomes undeniable, and what once felt impossible becomes natural. It's not the big leaps that change your life, it's the small, consistent steps, and those steps must be intentional, because drifting doesn't lead to growth. Autopilot doesn't lead to transformation. Comfort doesn't create excellence. You have to decide what you want, and then make choices that match that desire. It's easy to wish, it's easy to hope, but change demands more than hope. It demands habit. When your choices align with your vision, your life begins to shift. Not suddenly, but surely. You may not see it today. You may not feel it tomorrow. But with time, your life starts to reflect your intentions. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is crossed one choice at a time. So be deliberate, be conscious, be focused. Ask yourself daily, does this choice support the future I want? Is this decision helping me grow or keeping me stuck? Am I building who I want to become, or repeating what I want to escape? Intentional choices create intentional change. You won't stumble into success. You won't fall into discipline. You build it. One decision, one moment, one day at a time, and that's how lives change, not with luck. Not with waiting, but with daily, intentional choices. Discipline creates the future. Regret only chains it. Discipline is the builder. Regret is the weight. One sets you free. the other holds you back. Every day, you're planting seeds. Discipline plants vision. Regret plants hesitation. Discipline says, do what's right, even when it's hard. Regret whispers, you should have done more, but now it's too late. The truth is, you will suffer either way. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret, but one pain builds you, the other breaks you. Discipline is the decision to act now for the life you want later. It's saying no to comfort in the moment so you can say yes to freedom in the future. Regret shows up when time runs out, when chances are missed, when potential is buried under excuses. Regret doesn't ask for permission. It shows up quietly, late at night, when it's too quiet, and it starts to speak. It reminds you of what you didn't do, of the things you avoided, of the time you wasted. Discipline, on the other hand, speaks in a different voice. It doesn't always feel good in the moment, but it rewards you in ways regret never can. Discipline gives you strength. It gives you self-respect. It gives you options. It builds momentum. It builds habits. It builds a life you're proud of. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. Small acts of discipline compound into massive results. Waking up early, eating with intention, training your body, feeding your mind, protecting your time, guarding your focus. These don't seem powerful on their own. But together, they shape your future. Regret is heavy, not because of what it is, but because of what it takes from you. It steals confidence. It drains energy. It clouds your vision. You look back and wonder what could have been. And that question never stops echoing. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't need more time. You need more discipline, because discipline gives you time. It gives you purpose. It gives you freedom. It's not punishment. It's preparation. It's how you become the version of you that doesn't just dream, but delivers. Discipline doesn't show up loud. It's quiet. It's personal. It's the voice that says, keep going, when quitting feels easier. And every time you choose it, you put distance between you and regret. The future belongs to those who are willing to trade comfort for clarity, to trade ease for excellence, to trade impulse for intention. Regret wants you to wait. Discipline wants you to work. Regret tells you it's too late. Discipline reminds you it's never too soon to begin. Right now, you get to choose. You can feed regret, or you can feed discipline. One will keep you stuck. The other will set you free, because discipline creates the future, and regret only chains it. Use your past as a mirror, not a master. Your past is there to reflect, not to rule. It's meant to give insight, not instructions. It's a reference point, not a destination. Too many people let their past tell them who they are. They let old mistakes become present identities. They let old wounds define current worth. But the past is not your boss. It doesn't get to control your steps unless you hand it the keys. A mirror shows you what was. A master tells you what must be. One helps you understand. The other demands that you stay the same. When you use your past as a mirror, you learn. You see patterns. You recognize what didn't serve you. You become aware of the choices that shaped your direction. But when you treat it like a master, you obey it. You repeat the cycle. You listen to the voice that says, this is just who you are. You accept a version of yourself that no longer fits your future. A mirror doesn't lie, but it doesn't lead either. It's there to show, not to steer, and that's what your past should do. It should show you how far you've come. It should reveal the truth you've grown from. It should give you clarity, not control. Every scar you carry is proof you made it through. Every wrong turn you took led you to greater understanding. But none of it means you're stuck. You don't belong to your old story. You belong to the growth that came from it. The past can teach you, but it cannot trap you, unless you give it permission. Stop asking the past for permission to move forward. It's not in charge anymore. You've changed, you've matured, You've outgrown versions of yourself that didn't know better. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's okay to look back. It's okay to remember, but don't let your eyes stay there, because your future isn't written in the rear view. You are not the same person you were back then. You've gained new tools, new strength, new awareness, and now you get to choose. You get to respond differently. You get to break the cycle. You get to rewrite the next chapter. Let your past inform your decisions, but never let it define your direction. You're not here to obey your old limits. You're here to rise above them. You're not meant to live under the shadow of yesterday's choices. You're meant to rise in the light of today's opportunity. Mistakes are not shackles. They're signposts. They show you where the road got rough, but they don't stop you from continuing the journey. Use your past to check yourself, to remind yourself, to grow yourself, but never to trap yourself. You are not a prisoner of what was. You are a student of what was, and students graduate, students evolve, students move on. Let the mirror reflect growth. Let it reflect awareness. Let it reflect how far you've come. But don't let it lead. That job belongs to vision, to discipline, to the decisions you make now. Because the past can only master you if you stop moving. But if you keep stepping forward, if you keep learning and choosing differently, then it stays where it belongs. Behind you, rock bottom can become a foundation for growth. It doesn't feel like it when you're in it. It feels like the end, like everything you built has fallen apart, like the light is gone and all that's left is the silence. But sometimes it takes hitting the bottom to finally stop digging, to finally pause, to finally face the truth without distraction. Rock bottom is painful. It's humbling. It strips you of what's shallow and leaves only what's real. And that's where growth begins, because when you have nothing left to protect, you can finally begin to build with honesty. When you're no longer pretending, you can begin creating something true. Rock bottom shows you what truly matters. It removes the noise. It reveals your strength. It breaks what needed breaking, so something better can be built. People fear failure like it's final, but rock bottom isn't a grave, it's a ground. It's a place to plant. A place where the old version of you dies and the new one begins to rise. It's where ego disappears and clarity begins. In the dark, you discover what lights you up from within. In the silence, you hear your real voice. And in the stillness, you make your most important decisions. Growth doesn't always start with a plan. Sometimes it starts with pain, with a breakdown, with a disappointment that turns into direction. Because rock bottom forces you to choose, will you stay down, or will you rise different, wiser, stronger? You get to decide what it becomes. You can sit in the rubble and call it defeat, or you can dig into the dirt and start laying a new foundation. Yes, it's slow. Yes, it's hard, but it's real. And what's built from the bottom doesn't crumble easily. Because when you've been broken, you learn to build with truth, with intention, with depth. You stop chasing approval. You stop performing for the world. You start building something solid, something that lasts. Rock bottom teaches you what comfort never could. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you who you are without the titles, the image, the applause. It introduces you to yourself, and that self, the one who got back up, is the one capable of becoming something greater. Don't be ashamed of rock bottom. It's the place where strength is forged, where the fire burns off what you no longer need. And what remains is raw, real, and ready to rise. You're not broken beyond repair. You're broken open so you can rebuild with purpose. So let the past fall away, let the dust settle, and start again. Not as the same person, but as someone who's seen the bottom and chose to climb. Growth doesn't always come from elevation. Sometimes it begins in the lowest places, and from there, you don't just grow, you rise. Forgiveness is the key to moving forward. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means choosing to release the weight that's been holding you back. Unforgiveness is a chain. It keeps you tethered to the past. It makes you relive the wound over and over again, like picking at a scab that never heals. But forgiveness sets you free. Not always the other person, but you. You're not excusing what happened. You're not denying the damage. You're simply refusing to let it control your future, because pain that isn't released becomes poison. It turns into bitterness, it clouds your heart, and it blocks your growth. You can't climb while carrying everything that broke you. You have to let some things go. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. It's looking your pain in the eye and saying, "You don't get to lead my life anymore." It's not a one-time decision, it's a daily choice. A quiet commitment to healing. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself, for the things you didn't do, for the things you allowed, for the mistakes you made when you didn't know better. But just like you offer grace to others, you have to extend that same grace inward, because holding yourself hostage in your own mind will never unlock the future waiting for you. Growth can't take root in guilt. Progress can't bloom in resentment. Forgiveness clears the path. It opens space for peace, for joy, for the next chapter. Some wounds are deep. Some betrayals leave scars. But healing begins the moment you stop trying to make the past make sense, and instead start choosing freedom over fury. You may never get the apology. You may never hear the words, "I was wrong." But that doesn't mean you have to stay stuck. Your freedom isn't tied to their admission. It's tied to your release. When you forgive, you don't erase the past. You just reclaim your power over it. You take your life back, because nothing is heavier than carrying pain you don't need anymore. It drains your energy. It steals your focus. It robs you of the present moment. But forgiveness is the release valve. It's where the pressure breaks, where the healing starts. You don't have to understand everything to forgive. You don't have to fix what's already broken. You just have to choose to move forward without dragging the weight of what broke you. Sometimes forgiveness is the only thing standing between who you are and who you're meant to become. It opens the door. It clears the path. It gives you the strength to walk into a new future, because freedom isn't found in revenge. It's found in release. And peace isn't found in getting even. It's found in letting go. You deserve that peace. You deserve that freedom. But it begins with one choice. One powerful, life-changing choice. To forgive not because they earned it, but because you need it. Forgiveness is not about the past. It's about the future. And if you want to move forward, you have to put down what's been holding you back. Because forgiveness is the key, and without it, the door to freedom stays locked. Become the person you want to be, not the one you've been. The past is a chapter, not a definition. It's not the limit of who you are. It's just where you started. Too many people stay stuck in old versions of themselves. They wear the labels given to them by failure, fear, and doubt. But none of those labels are permanent. They only stick if you let them. You don't have to keep being who you were. You can outgrow that story. You can break that pattern. You can become someone new starting today. The person you want to be is already inside you, not in the future, but in this very moment. Waiting to be chosen, waiting to be built, it starts with a decision, not a perfect plan, not a flawless record, just a decision to shift, a decision to think differently, to speak differently, to act in alignment with who you're becoming, not who you've been. Who you were may have made excuses. Who you're becoming takes responsibility. Who you were may have avoided growth. Who you're becoming seeks it. Who you were may have been afraid to change. But who you're becoming knows that fear is just a doorway to strength. You get to choose which voice you listen to. The voice that says you've always been this way, or the voice that says you don't have to stay this way. Change doesn't demand perfection. It requires intention. And repetition. You don't change by dreaming about it. You change by practicing it. Each time you make a choice that reflects your future instead of your past, you reinforce a new identity. You tell your mind, "This is who I am now." The old you might show up from time to time. That's okay. Don't fight it with shame. Just answer it with action. Choose the new path again and again and again. Over time, your habits catch up to your vision. Your thoughts align with your values. And who you're becoming becomes who you are. You don't need to be held back by your history. You're not stuck in your personality. You're not locked into your patterns. You're free to evolve. You're allowed to change. You're capable of rewriting your identity. Let go of the version of you that was just surviving. Let go of the version that settled. Let go of the version that doubted their worth. You are not here to repeat. You are here to rise. You are not here to play small. You are here to expand. The future doesn't ask who you were. It asks who you're becoming. So act like the person you want to be. Think like them. Move like them, speak like them, not tomorrow, not next year, but now, because transformation doesn't wait for the right moment. It begins the moment you stop looking back and start living forward. Your past helped shape you. But it doesn't have to shape your next move. Become the person who grows, who forgives, who takes bold steps, who leads with purpose, not because it's easy, but because it's who you choose to be. Every action is a vote for the future version of you. So cast that vote with courage, because the person you want to be is not waiting in the distance, they're waiting in your next decision. Life rewards the willing, not the perfect. It's not the flawless who rise. It's the ones who show up again and again, despite the flaws. Perfection is a myth that keeps people frozen, waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting until they have all the answers. But life doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. Time keeps moving, with or without your permission. And while some people sit in fear of failing, the willing ones step forward and grow through the process. You don't have to be the best. You just have to be brave enough to begin, to try, to fall, to learn. Willingness is the secret weapon. It's the quiet courage to take action when perfection whispers, "You're not ready." The willing build momentum. They take imperfect steps that lead to extraordinary progress. They don't fear failure. They use it because failure is a teacher. It shapes character. It sharpens skill. It builds strength. Perfection waits for safety. Willingness creates movement. It's not the smartest who win. It's not the most talented. It's the ones who show up, stay in motion, and keep adjusting. You can study all you want. You can prepare endlessly. But until you act, nothing changes. The world is changed by people who say, "I'll figure it out as I go." Not by people who say, "I'll wait until it's perfect." Perfection is slow death, a trap disguised as excellence. But willingness, that's life, that's growth, that's momentum. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall short. It's okay to be unsure. What's not okay is letting fear stop you from trying. Every person who made a difference started unsure. Started small, started with doubts, but they started, and that's what made the difference. Don't underestimate what consistent, willing effort can create. You don't need all the answers, you just need a reason to start. And a refusal to stop. The world rewards those who lean in, who raise their hand, who take the first step without seeing the whole path. Because the path reveals itself in motion, not in planning. You don't have to be amazing to begin. But you do have to begin to become amazing. Don't let perfection rob you of progress. Don't let fear of looking foolish stop you from stepping forward. The truth is, no one starts as the expert. No one begins fully ready. But the willing become the wise. The willing become the strong. The willing become the ones who inspire. So be the one who tries, who learns, who adjusts, who keeps going. Be the one who says, "I may not have it all figured out, but I'm willing to grow." Because life notices effort. Life responds to action, and life rewards the willing, not the perfect. So stop waiting to be perfect. Stop waiting for the right moment, the flawless plan, or the guaranteed outcome. Start now. Start with what you have. Start with who you are. Because the real victory doesn't belong to those who never fail, it belongs to those who never quit. Show up. Stay willing. Keep moving forward. Because in the end, It's not perfection that shapes your destiny, it's your persistence, your courage, and your willingness to try one more time.